Hello and welcome back to the Cheltenham Exchange. Unfortunately, you've got me hosting again this evening. OJ is not here. And we've got another one of our Twitter videos for you. Joining me today, we have the Highwayman, Johnny Evans. How are you today, Johnny?
All good here, thank you.
And we've also got the man who's got a new nickname. A new nickname for Ian. Oh. He's Rain Man, Boss Man, and Con Man.
Con Man.
The Con Man Ian Rainer. How are you today, Ian?
I'm very good. How are you?
Good, yeah, thank you.
Excellent.
So, video today we've got for you. We're looking at day 4 of the Twitter polls that we've been running over the last month. There were 28 days in February. Over the course of 28 days, we've put up polls for all 28 races. If you've not seen all the videos, go back on our channel. There's some really good content in there. Also, if you've not seen them recently as well, we've also been putting up some pundit picks videos. So we've been asking a load of really shrewd people from across Twitter and YouTube to give us a selection for a race at the festival. And we've put those videos on our channel as well. So make sure you go back and look at those. So without further ado, we will get stuck into our video for Twitter today. So first race on the Friday, we have, of course, the Triumph Hurdle, which at the moment is dominated in the betting and dominated in our Twitter poll by Lossymouth, who Johnny is very keen on, been keen on her all season. And Johnny, this has probably been quite a good race to you over the years as well, hasn't it? So having the one at the top of the market is probably not too unusual for you.
Yeah, decent record in this over the last few years. Like you say, we had Quilixios a couple of years ago who ran really well. It was a cracking race that day. I mean, he was the one who was lesser fancied, wasn't he? That day from Zana here for Gordon Elliott, but he came out on top. Then we had Deffy, didn't we, in 2017? One of your favourites, Alex?
Deffy de Soy, what a horse!
That was another good day. But in fact, my favourite ever win of this in recent years was probably the first time I ever went to Cheltenham, and that was when our Connor won it back in 2013. That was just like one of the most breathtaking performances I'd ever seen at that point. As a live race, it was just like outstanding. The way he tanked through the race and the way he pulled away, and it was such a shame what happened to him a year later in the Champion Hurdle. He could have been a great horse going forward.
He probably would have been like a multiple Champion Hurdle winner, wouldn't he? He had that sort of talent and that ability. He was amazing.
He did, yeah. It was just, like I say, it was just such a shame. Previous to that, I think I had Zarkanda and Celestial Halo as well. So I've done well over the years in this, and hopefully Lossymouth will do it this year, although there are a few worthy rivals in this, as the poll suggests as well. So, yeah, I think I won't be surprised if any of the top 3 or 4 in the market won this, but hopefully Lossy can do the business.
And Ian, looking through, there have been a couple of Henderson winners of this race. However, if I'm honest, that they've not been particularly good horses, have they? I mean, you've got Penton Pig. And Peace and Co, who I used to absolutely hate that horse.
I did.
So not been a particularly good race, I guess, for Nicky in terms of going longer term, I guess.
Yeah, very, very rarely does he have say apart from Pennant Hills, but I think he was a massive price on the day. But he doesn't normally go the sort of juvenile route. He normally, even if it not really so much bumpers, he normally tends to straight to the Supreme and go Arkle or Champion Hurdle, Champion Chase, that sort of route. But yeah, very rarely does he have a runner in the Champion Hurdle, Triumph Hurdle, should I say. But I'm quite the opposite to Johnny. Very rarely do I have a winner in this. I should mention my father-in-law. The last 2 years, we normally go to dinner and he will show me a horse that he fancies for the race that year. He shows me it. I don't back it, and then it wins it. So that happened with Pennant Hills. It happened with Burning Victory and a couple of others. So Quilixios is probably one of the last ones I had that won, and Far Class. But it's not been a kind race to me in the years gone by.
I mean, I'm just scrolling through the horses in the market. I genuinely cannot see a Henderson horse this year, despite the fact that you're obviously desperate to get Attacker in this race. Attacker, who is obviously a 5-year-old.
I forget the name of the right horse was. I can't. It ran.
Arclight.
That's it. Arclight, I think, was due to run in this. I'm not sure if he had an entry or not in the end, but yeah, I'll get my Henderson horses right this time.
And then a couple of comments we had on the poll as well. So we had a comment from Sizing Ruds, who is the bad boy bowls. He says he's a Lossiemouth fanboy, but he has got great respect for Blood Destiny. Can't call the winner, but it'll be some race. I mean, the top three in the market do all look great, so it will be a great race. And Robinson Crusoe has said that if Danny Mullins was on Lossiemouth, this wouldn't even be a question.
Wow.
I think he's probably referring to the ride that Townend gave her at the Dublin Racing Festival, which was
Yeah.
I think someone described it as brain dead.
Wow.
I'm not. I can't say I disagree because it probably wasn't the smartest thing to do. So yeah, there is that. Okay. Any further comments on the Triumph Hurdle?
No, just saying about Robinson Crusoe. I think that could be the case. It seems to me that Townend will probably ride a lot of the Ritchie horses across the whole of the festival. So no doubt he'll be on Lossiemouth. I'm not sure who Danny will be on. I don't know if he'll be on Blood Destiny or Gala Marceau again. But as you say, because I believe the top three are all Mullins horses. I think
they are.
So it'd be interesting to see who he picks for the three. But maybe Danny on Gala Marceau, but it'd be interesting to see who he jocks on Blood Destiny potentially. I don't know if Patrick will or not.
I guess two of the three at the top of the market are mares, fillies, and just looking through the previous winners, the only filly was Burning Victory, wasn't she? And she probably shouldn't have won because Goshen should have won that year. So I guess fillies don't tend to have a good record in this race. So I guess we'll see.
And previous to that, it was in 2000 with Snowdrop.
Oh, really?
And that, I don't think that ever raced again, or maybe raced one time, and that was it. But yeah, I heard that on another podcast, I think. So I've stolen that one from somewhere.
Oh, really? Now, maybe you're the con man.
Yeah.
Or was it Dawn who mentioned it on a Rare Punters page?
Oh, I think she did actually, yeah.
From there, that's where it was. There you go. Well done to Dawn.
So it was on our own channel, so it's not really stealing.
So I've pitched it from our own channel. So that's all good.
Perfect. We'll move on then to the second race on Friday, which is the County Hurdle. Betting pretty mixed. I mean, Pembroke did come up with the highest percentage of the vote, so 36%. Then Hunter's Yarn, Filly Bay, and then 18% on other. Looking back through the years, there's been some very good winners this race. Obviously, Stateman was very good last year. I used to love Wicklow Brave. There's also been some not so good winners this race as well. So, been a nice race for you, Ian. Have you enjoyed it over the years?
I was just looking, definitely Mahayed. It's Mahayed. I found. I think I mentioned it to the guys. I think, yeah, it was about 33-1 that day, and I think I picked that out a few weeks before because I believe we had some form lines with the champion hurdle winner. I can't think. JP Colours. Oh god, mine's gone blank. But yeah,
yours? Jeski?
Who? Sorry,
My Tent.
No, it was. I can't think. But yeah, it had form lines. No, it's a bit, a bit nearer the time. So I can't think. My brain's gone blank.
Bouvedere.
Yes, Bouvedere.
I said that about 5 minutes ago.
Oh, did you? Sorry, Johnny. Yeah, so, and it had Mahayed had form lines with Bouvedere, so and that's what made it pick him out. So he was quite a big price. Definitely Stateman had last year. Looking for maybe Superb Story, I think, back in 2016. But again, I've probably not had many. It's quite a hard race to get your head around sometimes.
And just looking at the sort of the vote share, Johnny, are you surprised that Pembroke's come in with the highest vote of those three?
Yeah, well, I mean, it has been touted around a lot. I've seen the name mentioned on Twitter quite a bit. It's not a horse that I've got sort of down listed for me in this yet, but probably need to have a bit of a more of a look at him, to be perfectly honest with you, because he has been sort of touted around on other videos as well. So they obviously think he's going to be well weighted for this when these weights come out tomorrow.
I think it's
I
tomorrow.
thought,
Formula with Tomorrow and Rock My World, and obviously you go Rock My World into It's For Me, and I think it's a lot of the form. I can see why a lot of people have picked Pembroke. I think some of the form lines are entwined in some other horses. But
you love that form line, Ian. You love it.
I do know if it's me.
I think you're probably going to find all the horses you can that are in that form line and try and come up with some kind of Hines or Lucky 15 or something.
Yeah. But yeah.
If they all win, then brilliant.
Oh, yeah, blimey.
Okay, then just going through some of the comments then. So the Talking Horses podcast has said that it's been long enough since the Greatwood that they might be ready to consider backing Gin Coco again. I like to move it's done the form no harm. I mean, he's been very good this season, hasn't he? I like to move it. And then Phil Daniel, part life, has said that Skelton's only ever had four Cheltenham winners and 3 in this race, and he likes Pembroke. Just what you said as well about he did get outstayed by Rock My Way, just same as what you said. So interesting race. Any further comments from you guys?
Yeah, just one when you touched on Wicklow Brave. That was the time where a week before he pulled up in the Imperial Cup, didn't he? After about 3 fences. And everyone thought he was a bit of a busted flush. And anyway, he goes and romps it a week later. So, yeah, that was good.
It's the kind of race that's quite often won by a horse with quite a big price, isn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously, last year it was a very short price, but you do get quite a big price.
About 80 to 1, wasn't he?
Was he that big, was he?
I think so.
Who was that?
Belfast Bantu.
He was a big price. He might have been
very big, I think, if I remember.
Yeah, and you also get things like Arctic Fire winning off top weight as well, don't you? So yeah, it's quite a hard race it's a good puzzle anyway, put it that way, but it is a pretty hard race to get right, unless you get something where State Man is obviously thrown in. He probably had a stone in hand, didn't he? So yeah, but you're not going to find many of them anymore, are you, with this new handicap rule? So
there's talk of Champ Carney potentially going to the county hurdle. Is that right? I've read today or heard today.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know how right that is.
I'm not sure if I'd want him over 2 miles personally, but
no.
Yeah,
be better in the Coral Cup.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah. Well, that's another horribly competitive race, isn't it?
Horrible race.
Right, moving on then to the Albert Bartlett, with, as you can see, a huge vote percentage for other, 43% of the vote. We did take a little bit of stick on Twitter for the horses that I put up, the top 3 there. And the reason why I put these 3 up, as I always do with all the polls, is I just find the lowest 3 price, non-runner, no bet on Odds Checker, and I just lump them on with other. The other horses were obviously fancied, but they had slightly bigger prices. So don't get offended if your horse isn't on there. That's what the comment section's for. Sorry, that's enough of my rant. Johnny, you like this race, don't you?
I don't know. I find this a difficult one as well, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I had Monkfish a couple of years ago. Well, I think we all had him, didn't we?
Yeah.
And that was obviously a great race with quite a few good horses in there. The latest exhibition, another one that's sadly not with us. And then you had Fury Road and Time Hill as well, didn't you? But I've had a few seconds in this over recent times. Commander of Fleet, I remember, was second after, fancied that all season. And OK Corral was the other one. He should have won that year. I was very disappointed with that. Going back, another great winner was like Bobsworth in 2011. I had him before he went on to win the Gold Cup a couple of years later, wasn't it? So I mean, he was a brilliant horse, wasn't he, that came out of this? So yeah, other years I have struggled a little bit because I mean we've had some quite big price winners in this race, haven't we?
It's another race where, I mean, if you look at the future form of those horses, some of them gone to do really well. I mean, like you mentioned, Bobsworth won a Gold Cup. Manila Indo won a Gold Cup. Monkfish would have won a Gold Cup if he didn't keep getting injured.
Yeah.
And then
you had the Nice Guy as well, didn't you?
Yeah. And then you get other horses, like I mean, you get some horses that just, because I mean, it's such a tough race, isn't it? Some horses then just pick up injuries following it. So
yeah, you do.
Tough one. Ian, I know you were very big on Hidden Valley Lake. He was one of your Ante-Post selections, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. It's a bit disappointing. last time out, where he was beaten half a length, I think it was. But it's a small crumb of comfort that he was giving £6 to the winner, beaten half a length. So I'm clinging on. So I think he's still about 7-1. He's about third or fourth favourite. So I think he's still got a good chance, despite the defeat a couple of weeks ago.
Mm. And I mean, Simon Curry as well. He said that about Hidden Valley Lake. Says he hated the ground last time out, and as you said, gave weight away. He thinks it was a big run under the circumstances, and he hasn't lost faith yet. And he's also put up Seabank Bistro. He thinks he's a big price has been overlooked. Personally, I don't think I could put any more money on Seabank Bistro. He's been tipped up enough times for me, and he's been absolutely useless. So he won't be seeing any of my money personally. And then a friend of mine, who I won't ever admit it, Aaron Brown, said he's also a big fan of Favre de Champdou, and that's one of yours, Johnny, as well, that you've put up Ante-Post on our Ante-Post series. Still confident with him?
Yeah, I think he's got a good chance. I mean, the comments coming out of Gordon's stable tour today seem to suggest he's going here. So, yeah, I'll be quite happy if he lines up. I think he's got good form, and he's got a good chance in this, in which is going to be a very competitive race, most definitely.
And I've also put up one Ante-Post in this. I like Shan Valley Kid, so just going to give myself a little plug in there as well.
Yeah. I like him as well, as you know.
Yeah. Any final comments on this race?
No.
Wonderful. Let's move on to the Gold Cup. Obviously dominated with the vote is Galopin des Champs, or as Road to Cheltenham likes to call him, Galopin des Certainty. He said his comment was Galopin des Certainty wins, lads. Just keeps it nice and simple. Johnny, you've had some good luck in this race, obviously being one of the biggest fans of Alboom Photo.
Yeah.
Probably the leader of the Alboom Photo fan club.
Yeah, myself and OJ as well. OJ's a big fan, so give him a shout out as well. But yeah, I mean that first time that he won it, like he brought home a 600 to 1 treble for me, didn't he? So that was absolutely amazing. I was bloody shaking for about a week after that one. But yeah, and then he went on to defend his crown the year after, obviously in another really, really good race. Before that, Sizing John was also another good winner. Coney Gree had him as well, and Bobsworth as well when he came here. I think that was the first Gold Cup I saw live. Actually, was it the Bobsworth one before? I think it was, wasn't it? Bobsworth one. Yeah, that was before the Coney Gree one. And then obviously before that we had the Denman and K2 Star battles, didn't we? So it's been a great race for me over the years. So yeah, even if you don't get the winner, it's still a brilliant spectacle to watch.
Just looking through previous winners for me, I mean, I think probably one of the most memorable Gold Cups that, from what I can remember, was 2018, Native River and Mike Bite. Just the two of them going at each other from the front almost the whole way, weren't they? They'd moved that rail in for the Gold Cups. They had that small little patch of fresh ground for them to run on. And obviously Native River just won it in the end. He was under the pump from about 3 furlongs out or something, but he just stays on for pressure, doesn't he? I think it was probably the soft ground for him that won it that day. If the ground had been good, I think Mike Bite probably would have got there, but
I was actually on Mike Bite that day.
It just stands out to me. It's just one of the Gold Cups that's just very, very memorable. I mean, there's a few down the years that you just can kind of remember, but for me, I have that very, very, very vivid memory of those two horses just being, it was like they were just miles clear of the field, like miles better than the rest. And yeah, just love that year. Ian, talk me through the winners. I can't see too many Hendo horses. What's going on?
No, well,
yeah.
Oh God, I'm the total opposite for this. To Johnny, since I started going to the festival for the whole week around 2011, I think it was Long Run who won the Gold Cup that year, and it took me. I think 2020 was the first time I had a winner in the Gold Cup, which was the second time for Alboom Photo. Funny enough, when he beat Santini, and then at Plutard last year. So I've had a lot of heartache with Mike Bite that you mentioned. 2016, I think, was the worst one. I had a big trebles that I was doing for months, which was that year Thistle Crack, Altior, and Q Card. And when Q Card fell at the third last, I think, and obviously Don Cussack went to win. But yeah, that hurt, that one, because I could have won quite a big sum of money. But I know that's not the point, and the horse was fine. But yeah, that one particularly hurt. But yeah, it's not been a kind race for me, the Gold Cup.
It's certainly can be a difficult race to find the winner in, but I mean they usually do come from sort of the top 5 in the market, don't they? So it's just trying to get on the right one.
Yeah,
and something always gets absolutely hammered in. Okay, so looking through some of the comments, then obviously mentioned Road to Cheltenham. Definitely give his account a follow. Very good sort of Cheltenham news on there. Galopande Certainty loves Declan Carroll from the Understarters Orders podcast loves Conflated. I can see the angle on that one definitely as well. I mean, hopefully they'll get Davey booked on him as well, so he can get stuck in. And then Phil Daniel says he's been with Statler since Cheltenham last year and he's not deserting him. He's pointed out that Native River was second in the national chase and then he won the Gold Cup. So he thinks that Statler will win the national tent chase and then win the Gold Cup. So, yeah, possibly. You never know. Another one that probably wouldn't be for me, but what do you think, Johnny? I like mentioning Statler to you because it just reminds me of your friend Fred.
Yeah, I mean, what I've seen this season, I'm not 100% sure. I think he's got a small chance, but I think it's more a place chance, to be perfectly honest with you. But yeah, I mean, he's there on merit, isn't he? So
yeah, 100%.
See where he gets on. I can understand the like for him and Conflated, to be fair. It's first time in the race as well, which is normally a good stat as well, isn't it? When you're in it for the first time, it's when you come back that not many horses win it. But yeah, they've both got reasonable chances, I think.
Well, you say not many come back and win it. I think Native River won on his second try, didn't he? And then Aplutard won on his second try. So
yeah,
maybe
that's it since 2000.
That could be a new thing, actually. Could be. You never know. Never know how these things are going to go. But just look. I mean, I don't think the horse that was second last year is going to win. Sorry, Matty.
Or Protectorate.
Yeah, or Protectorate. I don't think you'll win. Galopin for me. Got to side with my namesake. Okay. Any final comments on the Gold Cup?
No. Happy with Alex?
So next we have probably my least favourite race of the festival is the Hunter's Chase. Go on, Ian. You break this one down because I just don't like this race.
Oh, well, again, I was just talking about heartache from the previous race. Last year, I had wing lead and I thought it was just jumping the last, he looked like the winner, and I'm in the centre cheering him on, and then Billaway it was a great ride by Patrick, just actually come out of nowhere and then pipped wing lead on the line, so that really hurt. But today, yeah, so I think we've had on the Fringe with Nina. I remember vividly the Salsify, which I can't remember which one it was, if it was 12 or 13, and Jay Mangan was on, I can't remember the name of the horse, and went through the fence.
Yeah, he was
Oscar Delta, wasn't it, or something like that?
Yeah, 2013, Ian.
Yeah, and Salsify, obviously, it was like a fortunate win, went on to win this race. But yeah, that's one of the ones that stands out for me. And then obviously look at Pasha de Polder. I think you got Bryony. I think was one of the first rides for Paul Nicholls in 2017.
The year before that, she was ridden by Pendleton, wasn't she? Wasn't he?
Yes,
sorry, Pasha de Polder.
Yes.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah. And I think Hazel Hill was one of the other ones that had that. I think went off favourite in 2019. But yeah, I don't think I've had too many winners in this race. But yeah, but I think I fancy Vorselay this year. I think he didn't run. It didn't run last year, but I think he potentially will this year. Whether he runs Vorselay and wing lead in the same race would be. They both got declared today, but Vorselay would be the one I put my hands to or bet on this year.
Okay. And how about you, Johnny? Are you a fan of this race, or are you like me and you just would be pretty happy if they just didn't really bother?
It's one of them. If you're at home, go and put the kettle on, really, isn't it? I think it's one of those races. I think I had Porlock Bay 2 years ago, which was a proper stab in the dark, really. I think I had picked it maybe the night before or 2 nights before for Will Biddick with Lorcan Williams riding. I'm not even sure why I picked it. There was some reason, but I can't even remember. But before that, you need binoculars to find my last winner, and I think it was at Salsify the second time. I think, and that was a total stroke of luck, as Ian's already talked about. So, yeah, not a big betting race for me. I'll probably just stick a pin in again and just pick one out on the day or the day before, and hope for the best. I don't think it's one to, stick your mortgage on, is it?
No.
Not that any of them are, of course, but
no,
you know what I mean. It's not one to go wild on this.
Yeah. And then looking through the comments then, so Phil Daniel said it's unoriginal but Vorselay. He would have gone with Fern's Lot, but he's not going to be going in the race. He's got a 12-1 non-runner no bet ticket, but it seems like he's just going to get his money back. But you never know. People often write off horses and say they're not going to go to the festival, and then something will change like a week later, and then they'll end up running. So,
yeah.
Did he get the entry? Was it the entries today for this?
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
yeah. Fern's Lot did have an entry, but I think I've heard that.
See, there you go. See, it's had an entry, so it still could go, and people were like kicking off about this. But it's still
you could potentially have 3, but I don't know whether. I think you'll run two of the 3, but
yeah, you just don't know, do you, till the couple of days before. So.
And then Ray Gadsden says Dorking Cork, but I believe the horse is actually called Dorking Cock. Mr. Crawford, get on the cock. And then C or CDG 68 Everton says Go Geronimo. He actually finished second at Cheltenham in April, in the April meeting. So he's obviously run well on the course before, and that was over same trip, so you never know.
Yeah, that's
maybe a progressive one.
What price?
16s.
That might be one to have a look
That's
at.
with Bet365.
Yeah, the only other one that I've sort of heard whisperings for is It's On the Line at about 14-1. So, yeah, maybe have a look at those two and just back. I noticed that your favourites in the betting still, Alex, the Brain Power.
What do you mean, my favourite Brain Power?
You love Brain Power, don't you?
No, I just love that we backed him once and you kicked off and ended up winning.
And the storyteller, Johnny, is in this race?
Well, yeah, if he goes, I'll have a 5 on him for old time's sake.
All right, any more comments on my favourite race of the festival then?
None whatsoever.
Happy to move on, Alex.
Thank God for that. Right, we'll move on then to the Mare's Chase. Dominated at the top of the market by Allegri Devassi and Impervious, both very short price. Interesting that Allegri Devassi's come up with much higher vote percentage in the share, so nearly 63 and a bit percent. Impervious 26, Jeremy's Flame 7, and then other 3.8. Not been much of a history to this race. It's been won by Willie Mullins both times. And he's obviously got a hot pot in it again this year. Although, I mean, she's only been over fences twice, so you never know what can happen. Johnny, what are your thoughts?
I'll start to think, why bother with this race, to be perfectly honest with you. I know it's brand new, isn't it? So I can't really slag it off too much. But yeah, it's not grabbed my attention very much so far. But I'd be in the Allegory Devassi camp because I just think that she's probably got the chance to be something special, even though we've only seen her twice over fences. But that's just more of a gut feeling. But yeah, I'm looking at how many entries there are still. There's only about 17 left in already. I mean, it just shows that are they really taking it seriously? All the trainers,
Be lucky if you get 10, I reckon.
Yeah, you'd be lucky if you get 6, 7, or something like that. So there'll be some each way value in there somewhere, won't there? But
I mean, if they scrap this race, for example, you could probably have like a Turner's with obviously Mighty Potter. You then have these 2 mares in there with a very valuable £7 claim as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
I just think that yeah.
I mean, that's a separate show, in it. We could go on for ages about stuff like that, couldn't we? But yeah, it's not gripped me yet, so yeah, we'll see.
there's a few changes they should certainly make to some of the races, particularly for me, the National Hunt Chase. But I won't go on that rant today. I could rant about that for hours.
We'll rant about this. We'll do a special video for rants and maybe a live.
In fact, tell you what, I'll send a rant video about these two races to Cheltenham, and a rant note. There you go. And plug there for Cheltenham and his ranting and racing podcast with Daryl Carter. It's very good. Very good. Watch that. So if you've not seen it, dial in. Tons of comments then. So Aaron Brown, who I unfortunately have to say is my friend, says Allegri Devassi to win, but he'll be backing Zambella each way. Simon Curry says Allegri Devassi will be the one. She's a class apart. Impervious is the only one that would give her a race. Two potentially high-class mares who wouldn't be out of place in the Turners, which I agree. Yeah, they should be in that race. You've got like a grade 1 open mares chase, and it's dominated by 2 novices. So, in fact, three novices. Jeremy Flames is a novice as well, isn't she, over fences?
I believe so.
And I think she's got the highest RPR out of the 3 as well, if I'm not mistaken. I know.
Scrap this race. And then Sizing Ruds says Jeremy Flame posts good each way value rather that than Allegri Devassi, who's jumping is a concern for him. She did jump a little bit right, didn't she, on last time, didn't she?
She's got a couple of shockers in her, I think. Last time out the first, I think she nearly fell at the first, didn't she? I think could be.
Ruby just slated Townend for it, didn't he? In the Road to Cheltenham podcast the week after. That was quite funny.
Yeah, she's definitely be. It'd be if you've backed Allegri Devassi, you'll be. I think you'll be on the edge of your seat. I think it could be a tough ride. This one.
I think between the two of them, she probably, almost certainly has the higher ceiling, but I think she's also got the lower floor, hasn't she? Like, it wouldn't surprise me if she finishes tailed off, but it wouldn't also surprise me if she wins by 20 lengths. Like,
no, yeah,
one of those, isn't she?
Yeah.
Excellent. Any final comments on this race?
No, happy to go on.
No.
Wonderful. And we'll go to the race that finishes it all. We have the Martin Pipe Handicap Hurdle. Very close betting with these ones here in the top 3. So you've got Spanish Harlem, who's been a talking horse on Twitter for the last week, was talked up by Ruby Walsh, and now there's been some comments today from Willie Mullins say he might not even go to the festival. So, like, yeah,
Bingo in full swing.
He's just helping out, with bingo, isn't he? And then, very close between Cool Survivor and Langadan. But another race the last couple of years where they've gone on to do quite well. Obviously, Galopan is going to win the Gold Cup this year, and he should have won the Turners last year. Yeah. Banbridge, a big horse that you fancy, Johnny, for the Turners as well.
Yeah. I think I was the only one who was on Banbridge for this last year as well. I'd followed him all season. So I was pretty happy when he came up trumps last year. But yeah, I quite like him still. Hopefully he gives a good performance in the Turners if he goes that way. But Galopan the year before, again, he was another one that was thrown in, wasn't he? Had a stone in hand. We had the old favourite in 2018, Slow by Slow.
Slow by Slow.
But perhaps my favourite winner was Colta Vic. Again,
what a horse he was.
I loved him.
Yeah,
fantastic. So he was one of my favourites. And I'm not even going to get into 2020, Alex, because I know we don't.
No, you've got to. Come on. No. I think it's time that you admit that Indefatigable would have beaten Column of Fire.
Never.
Johnny, now is the time. Just say Column of Fire was never going to win.
Column of Fire was winning all the way.
No, he wasn't. Ian, come on, you can tell the truth.
No, I was on Column of Fire as well. That hurt. Another one. Friday seems to hurt for me, I think.
Still hurts now. It still hurts Charlie, doesn't it? Now? So,
yeah. Lubris was another one I remember. 2013. Harry Derren, blimey, that shows how long ago that was.
Yeah.
Even Don slowly won this.
Yeah.
Thomas Crapper.
And I was just going to say your old favourite, Thomas Crapper.
Thomas Crapper.
You loved him, didn't you? So.
He was rubbish everywhere apart from Cheltenham, and then he'd just turn up in a handicap sometimes and just decide he was going to run a good race, and then he'd be useless again for the next 6 months, 12 months.
There's been some proper characters in this race over here. You got that Disco Rama as well, who always loved finishing second as well. So Yeah, there's been some good horses. It's a good race, this actually, isn't it?
Mm.
The only bad thing is it's the last one for another year, but we don't want to talk about that yet.
No. Going through the comments then, Simon Curry says that Cool Survivor's got the best form on all known horses coming for the race. Possibly there might be a handicap good thing lurking somewhere though.
He said that
his front running star is perfect for the race.
Gordon said today though he thinks he might go the Bartlett.
Who knows?
But who knows? Because he said the same about Favre de Chandu as well, didn't he? So same colours.
It's because they don't want too many of their horses in there because they already know that Shan Bally Kid wins that race. So there's no point putting too many other horses theirs in there, is there?
You never know, do you?
Never know. And then other comment. Got a comment from Phil Daniel again saying that my eye for him. Says Harry put up Lorcan last time to get to know the horse with planning to run in this race. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, he's put up £3 for the neck beating over 2 miles. Would have got up in a few more strides. Top weight off this, 145 will do for him. He thinks he's the class act in the race. Big weight to carry, I guess, when there's going to be some unexposed types in there, aren't there?
I'll be Langer down again, no doubt. You watch, he'll go a favourite tomorrow. I reckon everyone will just pile on once all the weights come
Langer down part 3.
Oh, God.
Any final thoughts on this race from you guys?
Not really. No. It's not really what I've looked into at the minute, but I'm sure when we do our previews next week, we'll delve into it a bit more.
I've got one for the previews, so I'll keep that for that.
Perfect. And that's a good segue, actually, just to say that at the end of next week, so on Friday, the 10th of March, we'll be recording our preview shows. So a preview show for day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4 for the festival. And we've got 2 special guests on each episode as well. So I imagine those videos will be coming out possibly Saturday
morning, it should be. Yeah.
Yeah. Ian will be up until 5 a.m. editing. So
it'll be a long night.
If they're not up by 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock Saturday morning, just give him a little tag on Twitter, and I'm sure he'll really appreciate it. Okay, so that wraps up then the 4 days of the festival. Okay, yeah, that wraps up the 4 days of the festival, and that wraps up our Cheltenham Festival Twitter poll series as well. So thanks for everybody that's watched. Thanks to everyone that's contributed to the polls, whether it's commenting, voting, sharing, liking, everything. Please remember to like this video as well. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you're not doing so already. As I mentioned, we've got loads of good content coming and loads of good content that we've recorded over the last few months, last few days, with some great guests. So, and possibly even some jockey and trainer interviews and maybe even an owner. Who knows? We'll see what we've got coming up in the pipeline. But yeah, once again, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one.